Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Krish Hope Services, a webinar series. And today's topic is autism awareness and management during COVID. And today, our guest is Mr. Prathamesh Belur. He is a speech language pathologist, a colleague of mine, and he has an experience of 10 years in the field. And he is going to be our host, who is going to talk to us about. He will be the host. He will be the presenter today for us. And Prathamesh,
Thank you,
welcome
Seema.
on board.
Thank you, Seema. It's a pleasure to be here. So, hello everyone. As Seema has already given my introduction, let us go towards the main topic. The topic that we are presenting today is on autism awareness and management, especially during these testing times of COVID-19. So, without further ado, let's just move on and go through the first slide. Basically, today what I'm going to talk about is autism spectrum disorders and how it affects parents' management, and how parents, what are the tips and techniques parents can use to handle their child who would have been diagnosed with this disorder. So, going through.
So, Prathamesh, we know in the field that autism is such a common and most prevalent issue lately.
Yes.
So it would be very interesting to get more information what the families could do during COVID.
Definitely, Seema, especially in our environment, in Ontario, in Canada, in fact, all over the world, basically, right?
Yes.
Because the rate of the prevalence of autism has increased by manifold. So, having said that, let's move on without any further ado. So, let's start with the first slide, which is a quote that I would like to, just quote. There is no enigma like the mind. The normal mind functions at the speed of light in a multitude of directions, and yet there are certain shadows that never dissolve by light and remain a deep mystery, as when presented by a disordered human being. So this is exactly what I'm talking about as to what autism could be. Autism, for a normal layman person, might be considered as a disorder, but you have to understand that children with autism have special talents. They might be intellectually moderately in terms of having deficit, but there are autism children who tend to have higher functioning intelligence. So let's move on to the definition first. Basically, ASD, as the term that we use for autism spectrum disorders, are a group of neurodevelopmental disorders that are characterized by three main deficits. The first one that we talk about is social interaction, communication, as well as restricted and repeated patterns of behavior or interests. Now, when you say neurodevelopmental, it's mainly to do with the brain, and that is one of the most the mysteries that parents always ask me as to why autism happens in my child, or what is the cause for autism. So next, let's move on to the cause and see if there are. Autism spectrum disorder basically is an umbrella term, and you have various so-called terms that we use. Asperger's syndrome or disorder is mainly meant for children who have high functioning autism. That there is another form called childhood disintegrative disorder, another form called Rett's disorder, and of course the PDD, which is not otherwise specified. So what happens is, when you diagnose a child with autism, no two autistic children are the same, right?
Absolutely.
So there's a huge variation in the categories of symptoms that you see is different.
Different.
So whenever a parent comes to me and asks, okay, why is that child not the same as this child?
Yes.
It's very hard to explain because that's the mystery of autism.
Exactly.
So let's
true.
let's theorize on some of the causes that parents usually ask me next. So one thing for sure is, I'm sure Seema, you know that there is no actual clear cause.
Absolutely.
One of the links that they have mentioned is about chromosome 11, and this is mostly to do with genetic factors, but parents generally don't, consider
Yes.
that as a main factor.
Right.
One of the things that I have always listened to and got information from parents is the link to MMR vaccines.
Even I heard that. Yes.
That is very, very interesting to me because based on many articles I read and the research that I've done, MMR vaccines, there is no scientific evidence and proof to suggest that there's a link between what the autism and the vaccination. And probably the parents get confused is because of the age at which you get those vaccines, and then coincidentally these symptoms tend to appear. What some parents may not understand is autism can regress, can be a regressive disorder where they may be normal till the age of 2. They may have all the milestones, and then suddenly you see a decrease, and then they try to connect. Could it be because of this? So let's just be clear. There is no adequate scientific evidence to suggest that MMR vaccines and autism are related.
That's right. There's no research yet.
Yeah. So one of the reasons where autism is being diagnosed and easily nowadays is better diagnostics.
Absolutely.
People are aware of the criteria.
Yes.
Better screening and tools.
Yes.
Public awareness.
That's a big one.
That's a big one because I know during my parents' days and my grandparents' days, autism.
They never heard that term.
They would have never heard, even though it might have been prevalent.
Absolutely.
But people just don't autism. Ye to kya,
Yes, exactly.
They used to ask me in my own language.
Yes. Yes.
So the fourth one is schools being aware. Schools, they have lot of initiatives in terms of people, the EAs, educational assistants.
Yes, and I think the speech language pathologist and psychologists.
And it's a more of a multidisciplinary approach,
Absolutely,
which is really helps in autism.
Yes.
And of course, the advanced technology and information resource. Now, but it can be a two-edged sword. We don't want all parents to just go to the internet and keep reading time after time. Yes, because they get stressed even more. And I've realized that when parents see too much of the information, they think, oh, do I find this in my child? Do I find that in my child?
Because they start investigating and looking for those symptoms.
Which you shouldn't. So I'm just trying to let all the parents know that don't be stressed. Don't be, more of an investigative journalist in terms of trying to find out always consult a professional. And SLPs, that is speech language pathologists, are the professionals who deal with communication aspects. Okay, so the next one, the 4 features that we see in ASD. First one is communication.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think verbal, non-verbal, and there are chances. I would like the parents to know that there could be chances that an autistic kid can be non-verbal.
Yes.
So whenever any parent asks me, okay, why isn't my child talking? You're a speech language pathologist, so why aren't you working on the speech? So we have to understand that communication can be in various forms.
Yes.
It can be non-verbal, picture related, even a pointing is considered as a form of communication, which parents don't actually realize, or they don't actually look for it. They say that he's not saying anything. So let's discuss more on that. Next, of course, is play and social skills.
Yes.
Definitely interactions. Autism is an isolation disorder where they like to play by themselves, not mingle.
Yes.
Behavior and sensory responses. There are kids with autism who may like certain things to touch, like a Play-Doh, or you may have those sand fumes, and even the type of texture of food that they eat. So they may like some sticky stuff, but they may not like the dry stuff. Some people like the wet stuff. So parents have to realize that there are some sensory issues which every autism child may or may not have, depending on the severity.
Yeah, every autistic child is unique. So they present with certain things and they don't with other things.
Exactly. And of course, the final point is the thinking and learning.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you heard of theory of mind and all those factors. We'll discuss more on that. Yeah. So basically, children with autism can have various levels of intellectual deficit. and they may be even high functioning intellectualism can also be present.
Yes.
But the basic stuff might be more difficult for them. They may do very well in mathematics, they may do superb in drawing and painting and things like that, and music. They may be really good at music, playing some. You may be thinking, how does he do it? Because we general laymen struggle with that.
Yes.
But they tend to struggle with the basic social interaction, how to make conversations, how to maintain topic, how to terminate the topic, how to stay on topic, things of that sort.
That's true.
Okay, let's move on. So it's a spectrum disorder. If you have met one person with autism, then you have met only one person with autism. Remember, no two people are the same, and generally don't compare kids. As generally, we should not compare any child, but more so with the person with autism. There are various levels of deficit, and we will see that in terms of cognitive levels also. Attention span, memory, trying to have good association, problem solving skills, and all that sort, right?
Yes.
Okay, next. So we'll talk about the behavior skills. Next. One of the things that we have noticed is a severe withdrawal from people, not being socially interactive. So I am sure most of parents who may have kids with autism have realized this, where they don't know how to hug, or they don't know the certain emotions.
Yeah, and they like to be, playing on their own. Solitude is what they prefer. They would prefer not joining in with the other family members. Yes.
Right. Failure to comfort, lack of eye gaze, failure to be attached to parents, little or no separation anxiety, and little variation in facial expression, because they can't make out, right? Okay, who's feeling, my mom is feeling angry, and that's where mothers generally get irritated, because they always tell me, why doesn't he understand that I'm angry, or why doesn't he understand the feelings? And that's what autistic children have. Next. Apparent lack of interest, tendency of toddler to treat all adults the same way, failure to make friends and join in group activities.
This is a big one for us, especially for parents to see their child does not play with other kids, and he is, playing himself. So,
no matter how hard you try, it's always a challenge.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. When you see the next part, which is the umbrella of, possess the following characteristics. These are the ones which you can generally see. Inappropriate laughing, not wanting to cuddle, spin objects or self, insistence on the same things, not being able to handle variations. Transition, liking the same room. He likes to sleep in the same bed, likes to...
And you hold something, maybe it could be a piece of paper or plastic or a toy that he always wants to carry. And parents tend to just get confused as to why he's just holding it, right? Yes.
You never know. From his point of view, that is what he wants to do. Yes, that is what makes him more comfort zone. Yes. Next. So some of the stereotypic behaviors or the self-simulatory behaviors that we see is basically, stimming behavior, trying to rock on the chair like this, Some children have blinking too much, or they may start rolling,
or looking from the corner
of the eyes, and staring. Staring can also be, staring at a particular object, and they tend to, normal people, when they see that, they tend to see what's wrong with the child, right? If they are not aware of what the child is going through. So just remember that these are some of the stereotypic behaviors that can be seen in autism. One of the other ones that I would like to talk about before going is echolalia, or copying or imitating behavior. Echolalia, it's like when you ask a question, what do you want? You would say, what do you want? Where are you going? Where are you going? So you get frustrated as to why he or she is not able to answer the specific question. So echolalia, or imitating others' behavior and speech, is a very big feature in autism. The visual perception and the sensory problems is obviously you will see with taste, vision, smell. Remember, it's not necessary that this has to be prevalent in all kids, but you do tend to see that. And as an SLP, even though this may not come under a zone particularly, but we do see.
Absolutely.
And this can have an effect in terms of sitting behavior, paying attention, because if they don't get the sensory needs, then their communication gets affected, because they're always thinking about what to
Yes.
touch, what to eat,
No.
right?
So the focus is not
Not
there.
there.
Yeah.
Next. Some of the symptoms that I've also seen is brightness, sensitivity to
Yes.
light. Uh, I'm
Yes,
sure
or
you would have
yes, even
heard.
outside, when they go, they would just not open their eyes, and
Eyes.
parents, yeah.
And secondly, even this one, which I've noticed a lot in kids, is the
Yes.
hypersensitivity to
Hypersensitive
sounds, even a
sounds.
little bit, even something like this, and they would
And
be.
they would, yes.
So that is hyperacusis. They say it in audiological terms.
Yes.
I remember those terms, but yes,
And yes, I forgot to mention that he is an audiologist, just like
yeah,
me from India.
in the sense
but
like
we
I have
cannot-
done a dual degree,
Yeah.
so I have some audiological terms which I can use, but generally here I would stick to speech language.
That's right, because yes,
communication.
yeah.
And of course, they would have tunnel vision where they focus only on a certain area of visibility.
Absolutely.
Selective attention is
Selectively, that is very common.
sustained attention is
Yes.
very, very affected.
Yes.
And these are the areas which we have to work on before actually moving on to the
Communication.
main communication, because parents are generally, they ask, okay, what is your speech goal, what is your language goal? So I say the pre-language behavior should also be present.
Absolutely.
Is he able to make eye contact? Is he able to listen to you? Is he able to sit and pay
Yes.
attention?
Those
Because
are the pre-linguistic skills that we need to have before we move on to the next level.
And receptive language is always something you need to work on, even though you're looking at expression.
Yes. Yes.
Next. So of course you have hyper and hyposensitivity, that is to touch. Too much of stimulation they don't like sometimes, or if there's less stimulation they want you to hug, touch,
and running
movement. I'm sure many parents would have realized that, why is he so hyperactive? Does he have so much of energy? Endless amount of energy. And parents, when they look at him itself, they get tired.
Exactly.
So one of the features that you do notice is hyperactivity and attention deficit. So I'm sure you have heard of something called ADHD.
Yeah.
And autism and ADHD can coexist together.
Yes.
So this is one of the features that I would like to say. Next. Smell and taste. Hypersensitivity to smell and taste.
Yes.
Certain things which, let's say, they like.
And certain food that they stick to,
yeah.
For weeks or months, they would be just eating bananas, for example.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, they will just stop and they will.
And parents are always, they scratch their heads as to what's happening. And suddenly they give something else and he starts eating it.
Yes.
So remember, guys, as I said, autism spectrum disorder is it's an enigma. It's a mystery. And even the top scientists do not know what the clear cause is, but it's an interesting area to study.
Yes, absolutely. Next. And lots of research is going on at present time too.
So as I had already mentioned, with that MMR vaccine connection that we had the controversy, autism normally develops till 18 months. After that, they develop some allergies, substances. They may have other problems. They may stop speaking, be regressive in their communication. And I've heard many parents say, oh, he used to say certain words, but now he stopped it. Or he used to look at me, he used to sing some rhymes.
He used to, wave. All do that.
Now he's not doing any of that sort. So these are very, very common things. Don't think that it is related to something that might have happened, but that's just the way autism as a disorder is.
That's right.
So next, cognition in autism. This is one area that we see. One is the attention. That is very, very important. They cannot focus, as you can see. If you need to play with a toy, make sure you have only one toy
at a time.
Not have distractions. I've noticed any distraction in the corner and the child would just get up and run away. So you just cannot be running after the child. Have a certain plan, less barriers,
absolutely,
less distractions.
Less distraction is good for them.
Yes. So ADHD, I think we talked about that.
Yes.
That is the basic point where ADHD and autism, even though it may be considered as two separate disorders, but I've noticed that overall there are many autistic kids who tend to have ADHD as a form. So people are always wondering as to why two disorders can coexist with each other. And one of the reasons is because attention deficit and hyperactivity can also be seen in autism. So
Yes,
people are generally confused,
yes,
you know,
yes, very true. Yeah.
right? So next. So controlling difficulty having arousal aspects of attention, get easily distracted by irrelevant stimuli. So when I say irrelevant, even the knock or even someone banging on the door or someone climbing up the steps,
Or somebody outside, walking and or barking, and
barking,
they
they will just like, oh, what's that? And they
Yes.
start doing that. Even the ones who are verbal, remember, it's not just non-verbal.
Yes.
Even the verbal autistic kids, they tend to, oh, what's that sound? Oh,
Yes.
what is that?
Yes, what's
And
that?
getting them to focus is a very big challenge. So remember this. Next. Emotional perception. So this is also, I think, one of the features that parents need to know,
Yeah.
that they have a false belief, they have some ignorance, they don't know how to relate to other people's emotions. If someone is crying, they may not, let's say you take him to a funeral, he may not know how to behave in a funeral.
Exactly, yeah.
Things of that nature which you expect a normal child to do.
Yeah.
And it's not that there's anything wrong with it, it's just that the disorder is such a way that these characteristics can be prevalent, right? Next. So one of the features that I had mentioned was theory of mind, in which comprehension and thoughts of other people's feelings are not prevalent. They suffer from something, you can put that term as mind blindness, where it is quite evident, people can see that the person is not feeling good, but the child is not able to comprehend or realize, okay, my mom is angry, maybe I should leave her alone, keep quiet. But they will just come after you, keep banging on your near your ear. So things like that. One is emotions. They pay little attention to emotional displays. Yes, we have talked about this. Academic problems, I've noticed that some people do really well, especially if we are talking about the Asperger's syndrome, right?
Yes,
where
absolutely. The
high functioning autistic kids,
Yeah.
and people are amazed by the kind of talents that they show, right?
Yes.
I'm sure you would have seen
Absolutely.
with people who play music and
music, mathematics. Oh my God, I had one who was like absolutely brilliant mathematics student, and he can solve anything. But on the other side, the social skills were very limited.
Very limited. So, and I'm not sure, there is a child in India who has written a book. Have you heard about that? I think I'll get more information on that. But written a book by himself, and it was a pretty decent book. But I don't recall the exact name, but I will find out and let you know.
Absolutely, that would be interesting. Yeah.
Next. So in terms of extreme forms, they have academic forms, grapheme, phoneme, correspondence, not being able to identify letters, being able to write, having handwriting issues.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't come under the category of speech language, but
this is what we do.
Next. Okay. So one thing that I would also let you know is that high functioning autistic individuals can perform capably in a number of domains, whether it is mathematics, and people tend to get surprised when they say, oh, your child can become a mathematician or a scientist or astronaut, space junkie kind of thing. And they get this scratch their heads. Do you really think so? You said he's got autism. I said that doesn't matter.
Yes.
A child with autism can do the most complicated stuff, as I think Seema has already mentioned. As long as you work on the basic social communication, and the child at the certain age has got enough treatment and services, he will do really well in the other aspects. Don't worry about it.
Absolutely. Yes, that's a very common question that we get in our practice. That do you think he would go to school? He can go to college? Can he work? And I always, do say yes, absolutely. Why not?
And they, I think they think too much about it, because they have a certain mindset.
Yes.
And of course, in certain cultures, that parents want their children to be certain
Absolutely. With the
People
professionals
who
with
follow
that,
professionals. I remember when I was young, they would think about engineering, dental, or medical. These were the
yes,
three things. That's
the
it.
three things.
Speech language pathology. What is
Yes,
that?
exactly.
So this is
Exactly.
exactly the kind of thing, and I'm sure Seema has experienced that even more because she's older to me. She's got a family. I am not yet. I don't have a family yet. Recently married, but these are the things you should.
Yeah. So yes, 2 decades back it was even worse.
It was worse. Yeah, imagine now. Yeah.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
let's move on to the main part of the management.
Yes.
So let's move on. It's remember it could be a lifelong disability where there might not be a cure,
Yeah.
and till now, it's not just like you give a vaccine and it goes away.
Absolutely.
Speech language therapy sessions is highly essential,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
People tend to think, oh, do you think it's going to work? What if we just do one session a week?
Yeah.
These things don't work, right?
Exactly.
You need to be consistent and continuous, and then
Absolutely. And I think that is the biggest key. Here is continuous
consistency.
and consistent services and support for your child in the community.
Okay.
So once you get that and the child is receiving it, you can see the child makes a great
Make
progress.
huge progress, and it just remember, patience is a virtue, right? It takes
Absolutely.
time.
It takes time.
People tend to think, oh, you finished 5 sessions, what is this? He's not doing anything. But slowly and surely.
Yes, it's like everyone is so instant. It's the new current world where everyone is on the go.
Yeah.
And they think just taking a pill
That's it.
solves it. So why not one session and it should be done?
And that's where, from our point of view, counseling is one of the most important features, whether it's a parent or the child.
Yes.
Okay, early intervention, single most concept. I am sure everyone knows, even whether it's hearing loss,
Yes.
autism, no matter what it is. Even if you're a diabetic, let's say that you have some other disease, the sooner
Stroke, for
yes,
example, anything you take.
sooner you catch it, the better your prognosis, right?
Absolutely.
The later, every time, this is a common thing that I've heard from parents, he'll outgrow the problem. It'll be fine. It's just he's just 2 years old. Nothing's gonna happen. No, that may not be the right attitude to have, because even at the age of 1 or 2, you can still see features of autism, even though maybe your pediatrician or your doctor
Developmental pediatrician
will tell you
or
to wait
psychologist.
for, may happen that he or she may tell you to wait for 3 years, 4 years, and then see what it happens.
Yes.
That's where, as an SLP, I
Yes.
always counsel them, you don't need a doctor's diagnosis as long as you carry forward with the
Yes,
therapy.
it's what I always tell that is it's your gut feeling.
Yes.
If you think the child is not progressing
progress.
where they should be,
Yeah.
and you have some questions and concerns, then definitely get hold of a speech language pathologist. Call them, inquire, ask,
Right.
and at least get an assessment done.
Right.
Because then they can tell you.
And in today's day and age with the internet and everything,
Absolutely.
parents are even more concerned and they are even more on top of things.
Yes.
Previously, you had to explain, okay, autism is this, what is this, what is. Now, parents who are educated generally, they just come up to me and, I think he has autism. I said, that is not the way to approach it. But okay, I can see your concerns,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks. So these are the kind of interventions that we are looking at: behavior, language, social skill, occupational, drug treatment, psychotherapy. Now, don't consider the last few. These are just variations of intervention that an autism child can have. But language therapy, social skill training, and behavior. These are three aspects as SLPs and even behavior therapists. I'm sure they
Absolutely.
really would focus on this,
Yes.
because drugs, treatment, and psychotherapy, honestly speaking, in terms of evidence that we have seen, it may help to just reduce the hyperactivity, but speech language therapy is
It's critical.
critical.
Yes.
So the natural language methods is trying to have face-to-face conversation,
Absolutely.
maintaining eye contact. Many kids don't, many parents have this misconception that he's not looking at me. They are standing up, the child is sitting down.
Yes.
So I always tell them, is the eye level the same? No. So better the parent sits down on the floor and maybe he sits on the chair.
Yeah.
And then you can see that the eye levels are the same, and then you start talking, right?
Absolutely.
And of course, during these COVID times, we have to wear a mask. Now, as an SLP, I would not suggest that, right?
Yes.
But we have to keep precautions. And then 6 feet distance. That also should not be the norm.
Yes, as a family.
As
it
a
should not be.
family.
Yes, absolutely.
But generally, the lips, how you say the words, how do you say the language, and what terms you use, the kid has to see your face and eyes.
Yes, face to face is so critical. So critical. It's like without that, you can't move to the next level. You have to have for the child to look at your expression and
Yes.
move on and see what's going on, and for you to better understand what's going on with him too.
Yes. And remember one thing. It doesn't matter which room you are in. If you just call a person without having to actually look at that person,
Yes,
an autism child is not going to bother.
absolutely.
Even if you call his name and say, come on, and do that,
Yes.
because the autism child does not have the attention span and focus to actually turn back and see, okay, who's calling me, right?
Yes.
So let's move on next. Okay, next. Okay, features of the communication. So now one thing that parents need to understand is setting up of the communication situation.
Yes.
Don't have much distraction.
Absolutely.
Try to do face to face, limited barriers.
Yes.
If you're taking out a toy, take out only one toy, right?
Yes. Everything should be in a tote where the child is not able to open himself and get the stuff he wants, because they are very independent. They prefer to be in a solitude and do their own thing.
Do them.
So like give them the chance of
Chance.
communication where they are, trying to get one toy.
Minimize direct questioning. Don't ask. I've seen many kids.
Yes.
What do you want? Where are you going? What are you going to do? No, because the kids with autism, keep it simple. Keep it in terms of direct instruction. Give me ball. Let's sit.
Yeah,
Use
simple
gestures.
language.
Total communication. I think we have heard about
Yes.
this term, right?
Yes.
People think that gestures, non-verbal pointing, these things are not important. They are,
Yeah.
because as kids who grow up in a very normal fashion, they don't usually focus on these things, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, he's moving his hand. Why is he pointing? No. But with kids with autism, they can take your hand, lead you towards the object. This is also a form of communication, right?
Yes.
Last one, commenting and providing commentary about what the child is doing,
yes.
which we call as parallel talk or self-talk,
Yes.
or however it
Yes.
is. So it's like, oh, look, Dylan, you're doing this. Wow, that's a great job. Even though the child may not be speaking at that instant, at least he's getting the speech language stimulation that he needs,
Yes.
which for a child is very
Very
important,
important.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
Modeling. When you say modeling, you need to have anything that you do, whatever we have learned from our childhood is from our parents.
Yes.
How our parents bring us up is what we tend to become. Now, I'm not saying it's always necessarily the case. A child can get spoiled even if the parents are good or vice versa. But generally speaking, you need to have a great model, and the speech language pathologist will be providing the model, including the parents who are sitting in the session.
Absolutely.
So mother becomes like the first teacher and the home becomes like the first school,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So some of the techniques that we use, as we mentioned about teaching verbal skills, imitation, echolalia.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is a very, very big problem with kids. What do you think about it?
Absolutely. Bang on, yes.
I am what do you want to do? What do you want to do? It can get irritating, because
Yes.
even when people talk to me sometimes and they try to repeat what I say purposely, this is on purpose. Remember, the child is not doing it on purpose. It's just the way it is, because he doesn't have the adequate language to answer the question. What did you do at school today?
Yes.
Not
They
able
will
to
just
answer
repeat
because he
they
doesn't
can't
have the
understand.
language capacity to answer it. So always remember, be patient with the child and ask simple, straightforward questions and comments.
Yes.
Prompting and pausing the prompts. So prompting is basically like when you ask someone to, okay, what do you want? You want and you start
Yes.
just giving the first syllable, or you can even give maybe
Just
something,
mouth,
just the mouth,
gesture.
just like this.
Yes.
Or you can even give another vocabulary or semantic word for that. Oh, something which you keep on the fridge. What is that? What are we talking about? Something which is very cold. You give
Exactly.
you give clues or cues for them to understand what you're trying to say, and see if the child is able to relate to that and say it to yourself, right? The other ones are something called parallel talk, where you try to talk while the child is doing it. Self talk, where you are doing some activity and you explain, look, Dylan, I'm doing this, can you do this too? I'm pouring pour juice,
mix it, stir it,
and remember to keep your syntactic structure. In when I say syntax, the structure of the language simple.
Yes.
Can you get the spoon from the kitchen and get it to me here? It's too long, right?
Yes, it has to be.
It has to be simple. Dylan, get the spoon. Dylan, come, let's sit. Dylan, mix, please. There are various forms in which you do it, and that can be done through speech language therapy sessions where the SLP can actually guide the mothers to do use the right communicative intent for that particular, right? Enhancing vocabularies, joint attention or joint activity. This is one feature I think, Seema, we should discuss about, because
this is critical. Yeah.
Joint attention is like trying to play with the children at that same instant, as long as the child is able to focus on what you're trying to do. Because you're doing something and the child is looking somewhere else, it doesn't make any sense, right? So joint attention is one of the critical features of autism that we tend to look for. Next. Improving grammar. So when a child is using sentences with grammatical errors, it is not usually enough to merely model or correct. So you have to create the atmosphere to create the grammatical structure. Now this is for children who are at a high functioning level.
Yes.
Remember, we are talking about different aspects of the child's intelligence. Intervals of communication, right? Next. How do we promote language use? So basically, you need to have a environment rich area, have toys, the importance of toys.
Yes.
I'm sure you know that when I tell many parents, why do you need this potato head, or why do you need these blocks, or what is the importance of having puzzles?
Exactly.
But they don't realize that while you're doing it, you are talking and explaining how
you are giving them the rich language. Exposure.
Yeah.
And that's how.
For them, they think that language is just like talking to someone, and then they're hearing it and then they're doing it. No. The child has to be involved in the activity. It has to be from the child's lead. So if the child likes a puzzle, you start from the puzzle.
Absolutely.
Don't put your interest on the child and think that he's going to do the block first, because he doesn't want the block, he wants the puzzle. So start from the puzzle and then move ahead, right?
Yes. And it's very comfortable environment for them when it's a play-based.
It's a play-based.
Right? There's no stresses.
Right. Another feature that we can talk about is pictures as communication, otherwise called as PECs.
Yes.
I'm sure some parents would have heard that term, PECs. They ask me, what is PECs? Because they would have read it on the internet.
Yes,
right?
Some are using it.
Yes, some are using it. It can be a tedious process. I'm telling you all that there are many phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and it can be a bit of a drag, and most parents have realized they generally don't like it.
Yes, they think that once they start using PECs, that means
the child stops speaking, which is not necessarily true. But right. PECs, language, any type of picture, any type of cue form of communication will always enhance the speech. It will never inhibit the speech, right?
Exactly.
So remember this. Visual interaction, which is called as picture exchange communication, you can address it. If you go to the next slide, you can see that, the SLP is showing the child pictures. What would you like? You want to go to the toilet, and then the child would just take the picture. This is generally done for kids who are generally non-verbal or who are minimally verbal. Right? If a child is verbally, you can just teach the child how to ask for it. But generally, at least 30 to 40% of autism kids can be non-verbal, right?
Absolutely.
So there is a chance that a child may speak or may not speak. So always remember, but that doesn't mean he cannot communicate. Communication is different from speech.
And, yes, absolutely. That's the key. And the other thing I've noticed is, if a child is non-verbal in the beginning, maybe after 10 years of age, they do start becoming verbal. Sometimes it does happen. I had a patient like that. So
you just keep patient and calm, because you don't know about the brain maturity level. Look, some things we can't explain. Honestly, I'll be very honest with you, right?
Yes,
suddenly Stroke is a very prime example. Suddenly a person with aphasia or stroke tends to get better all of a sudden. Now, no matter how much treatment you have, if the brain plasticity is helping you to change it, it's always good.
Absolutely.
Same thing with children.
Yes.
Let's go to the next one. We'll see, okay, what are the advantages of using a picture board? So one thing is the communication exchange can be understood. You have anything with pictures, I think we do better when it's a visual schedule, right?
Absolutely.
Kids with autism do better visually.
Yes.
They are all called visual learners. I'm sure you heard of this term. Anything verbally, auditory is always hard because they just don't have the attention span. Anything you show them, they are always enlightened and this, oh, what's that? It's nice, right? So remember, PECs, you were saying something?
No, I was just saying that it does help with reducing the behaviors.
Oh, yes,
Sometimes
definitely.
family does not understand that, they can communicate. And with PECs or pictures, they are communicating.
But the parents are not reciprocating that.
Absolutely.
And they don't realize, okay, the child is actually telling you something.
Yes.
So this is where us as professionals can guide you guys, Next. So these are the certain applications where a child can touch, look at, physically move an icon. And remember, for all this, their motor skills have to be good.
Yes.
Now, there are some children with autism who may be physically inhibited.
Yes.
So I'm not talking about those because they may have other issues, right?
Yes.
I'm sure you've heard of syndromes. We've heard of certain syndromes like Down syndrome or, Klinefelter syndrome and those kind of things, which are all autism related too.
Yeah.
So this is where I was again mentioning autism is not a single term, it's an umbrella term, right?
Yeah.
Sequencing pictures, placing pictures, generate his own sequences, knowing what to do first, and then this is a very important thing. If the child is not able to follow your instructions, you can say, first we do this, Dylan, then we go here, because the child wants everything and he may cry. The child may cry for a certain item. Then you can slowly ask him, okay, first let's show this. We sit, quiet hands, and then show something else. Right? This is fine. Yeah, next. All right, fairing communication, social skills training. Now this is one area that most kids with autism, this is a primary focus, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Whether it is non-verbal or verbal, social skills has to be, worked upon, whether it is topic initiation, knowing how to ask questions, maintenance, especially with verbal children, right? So these are like the direct skill instruction, prompting procedures, knowing how to talk to, initiate a conversation, asking simple questions. Is the child being coherent in the language? We are all talking about verbal children.
High-functioning verbal children.
Remember, high-functioning verbal children, because generally when they see a child having good intellectual skills, they think that the child is fine. Fine.
But yet they have difficulties making friends.
Exactly.
Sustaining. They are the ones who are bullied the most.
And they generally tend to get in trouble because they're not aware.
Yes.
And then what happens is there may be a misconception outside that the child is not mentally stable,
Absolutely.
And I've seen many kids get into trouble. I'm talking about the older kids, get into trouble with the police or someone else,
Yes. Very common.
Very common, yeah. Next. Peer initiated strategies. So this is one thing that all parents should know, that you need to have other kids in and around.
Yeah, playdates.
Exactly.
Would be great.
Because generally what happens nowadays, you have the mom, the dad, they're both working. Kid is alone, isolated in a corner. Might have autism, may not have autism, doesn't matter.
Yes.
But this form of intervention is primarily important, because the more you are with other people, the more you will learn, right?
That's true.
And that's how we learned when we were young. We had neighbors and people playing with us, and then we learned the language. We never had people to come and teach us this, teach us that. But now, because of the lifestyle that we follow in the 21st century, peer initiated.
And daycares are great places.
Yes.
That if you can't have play dates, then
and there are many SLPs who go to daycares too.
Absolutely.
and they go to schools,
Absolutely.
they go to early intervention centers, right?
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
remember that these are all primary essential features that you need to
That's
think
true.
about. Next one, play therapy. Now, I'm sure you have really stressed on this with most parents, or not most,
Absolutely.
every parent. would
Every
say.
parent.
Play therapy, they're like, why do you need to play? We are working on speech. So they don't tend to realize while you're playing with the child, you're basically doing the communication.
Yeah, communication. You get a lot of language out of it, and you are not giving them the stress because they do sense when you are working on certain
Yes.
things without the play.
They are smart.
They are very smart. They can sense,
Sense.
and then they will shut down. So play therapy is the way to indirectly work on
Yes.
the language.
And they don't like that, remember. Something which you don't like, you will not do.
Absolutely.
And that's the same with every individual, not just them.
Yes.
Even I would not do it. If someone tells me, okay, come on, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah, or say this,
Say this. Even I would not.
I know, it's like
And you expect me to do that, but you want him to do it? No. Right?
it has to be play
Yeah.
based.
So interactive play, imitating the child's sounds, even if you're doing a playful therapy, coo 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 choo 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 choo, these kind of things,
Yes.
people tend to laugh at it, but it's no laughing matter because kids tend to get more vocalization.
Absolutely.
And the more vocalization the kid starts with, the more words he would end up with,
End
right?
up with, yes.
Play routines, peekaboo,
That's a lovely game. Yes.
things like that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Set songs with rhythm, melodies,
Absolutely.
dramatic, twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Rhymes are
and,
beautiful
yeah,
way to engage.
developing give and take.
Yeah.
Can I have it? Here you go.
Yes.
Having an exchange
Yes.
so that there is a turn taking ability. This is one thing which we always stress on. Use activities like throwing a ball or catch the ball,
Yes.
or let's put it in. Now it's my turn. Now it's your turn.
Exactly.
These are basic play structures you should know.
Yes.
So again, attention, imitation, parallel play, script in taking turns, games and rules in playing. Even though you may think that the child has to follow the rules, forget about it at that
Yes,
moment.
absolutely.
Just do what you have to do. Even if you have to play with two toy cars, and if they're crashing against each other, it's okay.
It's
The
okay.
child enjoys it. Oh look, crash, dush, boom. And
Exactly.
we're talking about kids who are very young
Very young. Yes.
and who are basically non-verbal initially, and then they tend to pick up language.
Absolutely.
And when they hear these words like boom, crash, oh, with the
Yes,
intonation, they tend to
that's true.
repeat better, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Very true.
I've seen that.
This is so.
Anything
true,
which is boring, okay, can you do this? Can you do that? No
It can be
intonation.
monotonous. You
Monotonous,
have to
yeah.
be, yeah.
Anything which is high inflections, they love it. Even though we may lose a lot of energy doing it.
Yes.
I agree with you. But
Exaggeration. Is
exaggeration,
the key,
yeah. In the long run, it
it
helps.
keywords, it
That's
helps.
why speech therapy, don't do it for more than like an hour or two or so.
Yeah,
Don't
an
do it for
hour,
3, 4,
yeah.
4. Yeah, you can't do it for 3, 4 hours. Like how you,
Continuously.
like how you do with certain other,
Yes. Treatment
ABA,
approach ABA.
which is like repeated direct. Nothing wrong with it, but it's just a robotic and direct form of it. Speech therapy is more of a natural way of
environment, and it's a
environment,
play-based.
and it doesn't look as if he's going to do some work. They're
Yes.
actually playing, right?
That's
And
true.
when you
Very
play and you feel like you're enjoying it, you tend to learn better,
Absolutely.
right? So these are like pretend play, trying to use dolls, knowing how to use it. Obviously, these are kinds of features we have to develop.
Yes.
First, does the child play with you? Parallel play. Go to that, then do symbolic play, use different materials. See if he does pretend play, trying to use the farm set, things like those.
Yes.
See, those are at the later stages,
Yes.
but initially, having the communication back and forth is necessary,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Next, so social play, trying to integrate people with kids in the camps, social camps. When kids tend to grow higher and higher, even if it is the first grade, second grade,
Yes.
you need to have more teachers.
Social skills group or
Social
social
skills
play.
group.
You can still have
Even if
your-
the child is non-verbal, still
Yes.
get sure you do that, right?
That's true. Yes.
And this is where we need to have certain tips to select toys. First thing, my recommendation, I don't know, Seema, ditch the batteries.
Yes.
I would say don't use batteries where you have these toys where you can just
I
press
know,
stuff
press, yeah,
and
because that is what they are interested in. That stimulates them. So avoid things with
avoid things, because wherever
batteries.
I've gone, I've seen only that.
Yes.
Pressing, ting, ding, 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 ding,
Oh,
ding,
the
ding, ding.
leapfrog and
The
all those,
leapfrog,
you know, the
yeah.
books and all. Every
And
family.
parents tell me, no, no, she plays with those toys, but nothing is happening out of that.
Exactly.
So you need to have specific toys, and we'll move on forward. Think open-ended toys where they can use and use it creatively.
Creatively.
Potato head.
Absolutely.
Put the, if you go
Yes,
to the next
the
one,
blocks, yeah.
wooden blocks, putting certain blocks, Legos,
Stacking, yeah.
yeah,
Car trucks, yeah.
cars, trucks, transportation, simple train tracks, farm set, potato head. I'm not sure if you people know about it.
Yes, it's the
Yeah,
best one for
best
body
one.
parts.
Play-Doh. Don't worry about gender.
Exactly. Yeah.
Initially, when kids are growing up, people think, oh, that's a boy toy, that's a girl toy. It's okay.
It's okay.
Initially, just let that
Explore.
child explore and play. Remember, eventually he'll pick it up.
Yes.
Skip the ABCs and 1, 2, 3.
That is the biggest thing that we notice is every child or every family, they focus more on ABCs.
ABC. Oh, he knows his letters, he knows his numbers. But what about communication?
Exactly.
How are you? What do you want?
So yeah.
Back and forth, right?
This
ABC and 1, 2, 3 you can always learn. And
Yeah,
that's
they
where
will,
they
because
always
it's so
switch on the
rote,
TV.
It's so repetitive. Yeah, absolutely.
Use toys to get them moving.
Yes.
Let them go, move, trampoline, balls,
yeah.
right? Next one, water table, ride on toys,
Yes,
play
water table,
toys,
sand table,
sand
those are the
table,
first
buckets,
ones.
cups, spoons.
Yes.
And remember, less is more. So in terms of less is more, don't have too many toys at the same time and say, look, I bought all these toys, but yet he's not playing. No, you have to sit, take part, whether it's a puzzle, even if it's a simple block, putting on top of each other, it's still an activity.
It's an activity.
Oh,
yes.
Dylan, put it on top. Oh, Dylan, look, green cup, blue cup.
My turn, your
My
turn.
turn, your
Do
turn.
anything.
There are so many things. Consider rotating the toys. Don't use the same toy every time.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the best toys are not toys at all, you know.
Yes. That's
Like
true.
you can use wooden spoon, pans, you know, whatever you get in the
Absolutely,
home.
yeah.
Cardboard boxes,
Bowls.
pillows. You can play with the pillow with a
Yes, the
and do
cushions and
peekaboo
all.
with the pillow,
Yeah,
right?
the blanket,
Blankets,
swings.
yeah, and then sing songs. Obviously, use that, right? So, of course, one thing that I would always consider for parents is having a support group always, because parents can get stressed out. And generally, I've noticed that husband and wife, they're alone at home, you know.
Yes.
You need that support system. So I would always suggest a Facilitate support group, social learning app opportunities. And if you have help criteria in the society, please do so. So these are this just the video. We can go and show it later. Next, three main areas: communication, social behavior. Just the summary, just to focus on. More of communication, ASD. They may have sophisticated language, some don't have. So based on that, we can figure out what is the right form of intervention. Right. Next, we talked about this. It's fine. Remember, go back to the previous one. We'll see. Okay, these interests. This is very important for parents to understand that topic of interest is very important. Even if the child likes something which you think is ridiculous or doesn't like it, you don't like it personally, please, you're the adult, he's the child. Just do it and get into that friendship, right?
Absolutely. So true.
Sensory stuff, fidget toys. Yes, we've spoken about this. So one of the areas that I think Seema, you'll have a better idea even about this. She's been here in Ontario for a long time. Autism program, the children, the Autism Speak websites, having Autism Ontario websites where you can get a general idea of how parents can get certain resources. And for speech therapy services, there are some people who may not be able to afford. I agree with that, but once you get a diagnosis, right?
Absolutely. There are government-funded programs as well, like Erin Oak Kids is a place where it is free of cost for them. Krish Hope Our Services, which is hosting this webinar. We do provide resources and
right?
counseling and consultation to them. So they can definitely call us as well. And Autism Speak is a great website too. And definitely, your speech language pathologist would be the best person to connect and get the services or the resources that are out there in the community.
Right, right. So finally, just to end off, I hope this was very informative for you all. Some of my final tips that I would consider is be consistent, provide visual support wherever you can, clear language, say what you mean and mean what you say,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
Reduce anxiety, don't try to add rehearsed expectations, be supportive. Next, be flexible, focus on social communication, get the assessment of a developmental pediatrician once you feel you have that, right? So remember, these are certain things an ASD child wishes that you knew. First and foremost, I'm a child, right? I have autism, but don't refer to me as an abnormal person, right? Sensory perception, the disorder, distinguish between won't and can't. Sometimes he can't do it, not that he won't do it.
Exactly.
So try to think in a concrete manner. Interpret language literally is very hard in terms of figurative language. Please be patient, help me with social interactions, provide cues, try to identify what triggers my meltdown, especially kids who are tantrums then to throw stuff. Try to figure out what is the cause for the meltdown and then make the environmental
because that
changes.
is also a type of communication, right?
Exactly. Yes, we have spoken about this and that's fine. Summary, create structure, routine, all that is okay. So finally, basically, I would say that try to create a routine structure, even if it's morning routine, waking up, let's do this, let's do that, because children with autism tend to do better when it's structured and when there's a routine. So
thank you, Prathamesh, for the presentation. And now we are open for any questions from our viewers. Do we have any questions? We'll just wait. But absolutely, this is so critical. And the most important things that you have highlighted at the end is routine. For them, having that structure and routine
is very, very important because kids with autism generally don't do well when it's all over the place.
Exactly.
Right?
Their anxiety level you're reducing because they can expect what is going to come next. So that helps with reducing the anxiety and knowing, and then he can participate more with his language and all. Do we have any questions? Okay, all right. So just wanted to thank our viewers, and a reminder that next week on Thursday we have our yet another webinar, and it is managing range of motions during COVID, and that will be presented by Jaslyn Pano. She's a physiotherapist, and I would like to say thank you once again.
Thank you, Seema. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. Okay, we do have one question. So let's see. How to break the habit of echolalia.
Right. So echolalia, as you all know, is a repetition of language and speech. So I've heard this scenario, this question with many parents. Basically, you have to realize that why does a child imitate the same words that you're trying to ask, right? One of the features is if you develop the language skills and if you enhance the language skills, the child will have the adequate, sufficient vocabulary to actually answer the kind of questions that you want. So generally what I tend to do is whenever you want to say something, would you like this item? And if he says, would you like this item? I generally try to answer it immediately. Would you like this item? Yes. Would you want to have any water? Or do you want water? No. And always use gestures. Yes, no. And typically, I don't know if this has worked with you, but when I grab their hand and try to physically point towards them, they tend to realize much better and easier rather than you having to say, okay, if you want to answer this question, you need to answer it this way. Don't always provide the answer, but initially just give the answer for the child to realize that next time once you ask it, this is the response that you get. Do
That's
you
true.
think is there?
Yeah, and I also, what I think is echolalia is a step where it's showing that the child is ready. He's talking. He's ready.
Yeah.
He can move on.
And always consider epicholalian imitation as a good thing.
Absolutely, it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It's a step up. So if you want to break the habit of echolalia, you can use simple commenting words, because then you're giving that particular language at his level, and every child is different. So I don't know what level your child is at, but definitely you have to start using more commenting rather than asking questions.
Yes.
Because the child is going to just repeat
the question.
So when you give him the word or a comment, you're giving him appropriate language that he can use that in different situations too. So it's a good thing. It's not, but definitely you can try this technique. So
and
we
you
have
can always reach
question.
out to us.
Absolutely.
We can give you a detailed,
Depending upon your child, because
Depending on-
every child is different. I have a boy with autism, and most of the time he meets with bowel accidents. My question is, how can we reduce it? Okay, so he meets with bowel accidents, and you know what? Definitely, I just want to make sure that you do go back to your family doctor or a pediatrician to make sure there's not anything going on with the medical issues with him, if that is something that you are concerned, because child having a lot of bowel accidents could indicate he needs a little bit more medical attention at this time.
Right.
And as a parent myself, probiotics are great things. I have used it with my own kids, and you can try that, giving them probiotics to see if that helps.
And of course, depends on the age of the child.
Absolutely.
So I'm not sure.
There are so many other things.
Yeah, and
definitely.
the fact that you take him to the washroom routine, but he tries to run away, that could be a sensory issue too.
It could be a sensory and having a visual schedule. I think she has another, she has continued with the question.
Yeah.
He is able to connect with others through sign language, but when we take him for washroom routine,
he tries to run away.
He just tries to run away. And again, we have to entice him using washroom routines. What do you say? Like pictures are a great way.
Right.
And social stories are absolutely amazing. So creating, with the help of your speech language pathologist, creating a social story about what happens, how we go to the routine, washroom routine in a social story, nothing taking him there. Just before going to bed, read that social story that, okay, the boy, it's time, he wakes up, he wants to go pee, this is the routine, okay, we open, we take our pants off, and the whole story.
Do you think an occupational therapist for sensory issues would
I have noticed that social stories, our speech language pathologist can do that too.
Can do that, right.
And definitely, and I think she's
mentioned about
you mentioned about masks during COVID
not being helpful. What is your approach then? So basically we have the face shields, right?
We have the face shields, and we do have masks that are transparent ones.
Because as I had already clarified on this, face-to-face communication, looking at your lips, looking at what you're trying to say, emphasizing on the stress, the feature and the inflection of the word is always important. So mask is only the one which we use right now, which is that non-surgical mask, the blue ones which generally people use. But if you use a transparent face shield, that is good enough.
Yes.
Because the child can still see your face.
He is doing better. How can we connect with him more, as he does not speak up, just make sounds? At least, Suman, what I would suggest is, we take him after
every 30 minutes for the washroom routine.
So Suman, that's a good thing that he has some sounds, and that could be, a step up again, and he's ready for a few more words, maybe. So depending upon how old your child is, sounds are first step, and then we move on to the next.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to again connect with the speech language pathologist and see how you can move forward. I work in daycare, and we wear masks.
Okay, that's good.
I know about transplantation. Oh, that is great.
That's great. Yes, I would suggest that. as a alternative to the regular mask.
Yes.
And always, even though we say that due to these COVID restrictions, we have to have this 6 feet and 7 feet distance, but if you are confident enough and do well, the child would always do better when you're closer.
Yes.
Of course, getting tested frequently, these are aspects
Precautions
which
are
precautions
best.
are always the best.
Hand washing,
Sanitizing,
sanitization, and definitely
not having direct contact, but if you sit too far behind or have too much of a gap, I don't think any autistic child would respond to that. So as an SLP, this is my suggestion. Maybe if I was a COVID doctor or something else, I would have said something else.
But I think what they do say, that it's as long as you are maintaining the hygiene,
yes,
the protocol as per the Ontario,
and you have the face shield.
Yes.
Remember, you have the face shield. So once you have the face shield and you have the mask, whatever protection you're wearing, it does not transfer that to that extent.
Absolutely.
So even if you have, let's say, a 3 feet or a 4 feet distance, it is still not going to be, dangerous enough to reach to that other person.
Absolutely.
Right?
So yes, and as a speech language pathologist, just wanted to say that we do clean and sanitize.
Yes.
Our toys.
That is our protocol. That is our protocol. Regardless, even if no one tells us, we do it.
Exactly.
Because we have our college and other people who actually notify us regarding these things. So we are very professional regarding that.
Yes.
8 years old. There's always
he's 8 years old.
Okay,
all right. There's always
one educator, especially for the boy.
Okay, so if he's 8 years old and he's making sounds, so that means he's ready for the next step. You can definitely, now that he has an educator, you can look into investing into having a speech language pathologist consult and move from there. What do you say, Prathamesh?
Just to be clear to Suman, that don't just focus on the ABA or the other aspects, because I generally see nowadays that once they have an applied behavior analyst, as they call them, or the behavioral therapist, they tend to neglect the speech and language part.
Yes.
The ABA therapist is fine, but it's more of a continuous, rigorous way for 2 to 3 hours, and they tend to continuously do it. Nothing against it. I have no issue whatsoever, but I consider speech language therapy as a naturalistic approach. What do you think?
Absolutely, and I completely agree, because what has happened is some of the families that come to us after having intensive ABA, the child knows the vocabulary, has everything, but yet he's not able to communicate.
He's not able
because it's more like a robotic. If you show him, say what's this, or say this, then they can do it. But if you use it in language, then they are not able to use them appropriately.
Thanks, I appreciate your concern. No problem, Suman. You can reach out to Seema anytime. I'm
Chris
sure.
Hope,
Chris Hope. Yeah. So any extra questions, we would like to explain it even more in detail, but because of the time constraint, we are not able to give you the precise, all step-by-step recommendation. But Suman, if you would like to reach out to us anytime, you can do so. We have our website, Krish Hope,
www.krishhope.com. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Is there any more questions? No, everything's fine. All right.
Thank you, everyone, once again, and we'll see you next week, same time, same day, Thursday next week, for yet another webinar episode on COVID and mobility.
Thank you. Take care and be safe.